You ever read something 5 times and still forget it the next day? Yeah. That thing you highlighted, the notes you copied word for word, gone, like you never touched it. And yet, somehow, the guilt stays. You feel like you should know it, like you're just not trying hard enough, like your brain is broken and everyone else secretly knows the trick. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells you. Rereading doesn't work, not because you're lazy, not because you're distracted, but because your brain isn't built to learn that way. You're stuck in a loop doing what feels like studying without actually learning. And it's exhausting because deep down, you want more than just passing. You want to remember it, understand it, maybe even enjoy it. So today, I want to show you something different. Not another productivity hack, not a magic app, but a way of learning that actually sticks, even if you never reread a single page again. Let's break the cycle. Why your brain rejects rereading. At first, rereading feels safe. You open the textbook, scan the paragraph, and something familiar lights up. Oh yeah, I remember this. But here's what your brain is actually doing. It's recognizing, not remembering. And there's a big difference. Recognition is like seeing a face in a crowd. I know them. But if I asked you their name, where they're from, or what they said last week, blank. Your brain craves efficiency. It doesn't want to burn calories unless it has to. And rereading, it feels like effort, but it's mostly passive. No decisions, no retrieval. Just gliding through the same mental path over and over, hoping it sticks. But it doesn't. Because the truth is, learning is messy. Real learning comes from friction, from pulling things out of your brain, not just pouring them in. That discomfort, that I can't remember this feeling, that's the signal your brain needs to grow. It's like going to the gym and lifting the same 5-pound weight. You can do it 100 times, you'll feel productive. But your muscles, they're bored. No challenge, no growth. Same with rereading. It tricks you into thinking you're preparing when you're really just numbing the anxiety of not knowing. And that's the trap. Because what do we do when we're stressed about an exam? We go back to what feels productive. Reopen the textbook, highlight again, read again. But deep down, we know it's not working. We just don't know what else to do. The system never taught us how to actually learn. It taught us how to memorize, cram, regurgitate, forget. But if you want to make it stick, like really stick, you have to stop dancing around the information and start wrestling with it. You have to stop rereading and start retrieving. You have to stop reviewing and start rebuilding the knowledge from scratch. It's counterintuitive, it's uncomfortable, but it's how your brain finally says, okay, this must be important. And once your brain thinks it matters, it keeps it. Not because you begged it to, but because you used it. The magic of retrieval practice. Imagine this. You close your book, no notes, no Google, just you and a blank piece of paper. Now ask yourself, what did I actually learn? Not what you skimmed, not what looked familiar, but what your brain can pull back up, raw, messy, imperfect. This is called retrieval practice, and it's the single most powerful way to make information stick. Here's why. When you force your brain to dig, struggle, and reconstruct something from memory, it creates stronger neural connections, like walking through a forest and carving a deeper path each time. The more you retrieve, the easier it becomes to find your way back. Not because you stared at it longer, but because you recreated it. It's like this. You can watch someone do a puzzle 100 times, but until you pick up the pieces and try to put them together, you haven't actually learned how it works. And yeah, it feels slower, more frustrating. You'll get things wrong, you'll forget. But that's exactly the point. Every mistake is your brain saying, wait, I don't have that yet. So it adjusts, rebuilds, remembers. This is real learning, not the illusion of learning we get from passive review. The wild part, you don't need to do it for hours. Just 10 minutes of genuine recall, closing your book, asking yourself what you know, testing without looking, that sticks far more than 2 hours of rereading. Because your brain remembers what it struggles to remember. So next time, before you highlight another sentence, pause. Ask yourself, if I had to explain this right now, without looking, could I? If not, try it. Close the book, rebuild it, say it out loud, write it down, quiz yourself. Even if it's incomplete, even if it's awkward, that's the magic. Not perfection, not repetition. Retrieval. This is how you go from "I've seen this before" to "I actually know this." And once you know it, truly know it, it doesn't just sit in your head. It lives there, waiting, ready, not because you crammed, but because you train. Your brain learns by doing, not watching. You wouldn't learn how to skateboard by watching someone do a kickflip 50 times. Eventually, you have to fall. Same with studying. You can rewatch lectures, reread summaries, even copy perfect notes, but none of it means your brain is actually doing the work. Because your brain is a pattern-building machine. It learns by making predictions, getting feedback, and adjusting. That only happens when you do something, not when you passively observe. Think about it. When was the last time you truly understood something? Not because you read it, but because you tried it. You explained it to someone, wrote a messy answer, got confused, asked questions, rebuilt it until it made sense in your language. That's when it clicked. That's when it stuck. This is the problem with traditional study methods. They make you feel productive, like you're getting somewhere. But if you never force your brain to produce, to make decisions, to get things wrong, then nothing really changes. It's like trying to learn to swim by reading about water. At some point, you have to jump in, and yeah, it's uncomfortable. It feels slower. You want to flip back to the answer, reassure yourself it's there. But the longer you avoid the discomfort of thinking, the longer you stay stuck in the same cycle. So here's a better way. After you finish a topic, close the book. Ask yourself, what questions would I ask if I were the teacher? Then answer them. Out loud, on paper, in your head, doesn't matter. The point isn't getting it right. The point is forcing your brain to retrieve, organize, and express what it just absorbed. That process is what tells your brain, this matters, let's keep it. Because watching someone else do the thinking doesn't train your brain. Only doing it yourself does. So next time you study, remember, don't just review, don't just highlight, don't just hope it sticks. Practice doing the thinking. Even if it's ugly, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard, because that's where the real learning lives. Not in the textbook, not in the notes, but in you choosing to wrestle with it. Why struggle is a feature, not a flaw. If learning feels easy, you're probably not learning. That might sound backwards, but it's the truth. Because real learning doesn't happen when things make sense instantly. It happens in the tension, in the "I don't get this yet." We've been trained to think struggle means failure. Like if it's not clicking right away, something's wrong with us. But your brain, it loves the struggle. It's how it knows something is important. It's how it decides, okay, I need to remember this next time. Struggle is how your brain upgrades. Think about it like this. Every time you forget something and try to recall it, your brain is building a stronger retrieval path. It's like walking through fog, taking one step at a time until the path gets clearer. Each wrong answer, each "ugh, I forgot again," that's not wasted effort, that's signal. It tells your brain, this path is being used. So it reinforces it. But when you reread, when you over-highlight, when you avoid the struggle, you're not using the path at all. You're just standing at the trailhead hoping it shows up when you need it. And that's the trap. You feel more confident, but you're actually less prepared because you haven't trained for the test. You've just rehearsed the feeling of familiarity. So next time you sit down to study, don't run from the confusion. Lean into it. When it feels like you're not getting it, pause. Remind yourself, this is exactly what learning looks like. You're in the gym, and your brain is lifting heavy. And yeah, it might be shaky, you might drop it, but you're building strength, you're rewiring. This shift from avoiding struggle to embracing it changes everything. Because suddenly the frustration isn't failure, it's feedback. It means you're doing it right. It means you're growing. It means the information is about to stick, not because you watched it again, but because you wrestled with it long enough to make it yours. So don't be afraid of the hard parts. The struggle isn't the barrier. It is the path. Turning study time into mental reps. Think about the way athletes train. They don't just watch videos of the perfect swing or shot. They break it down, drill it, miss it, adjust, repeat. They turn hours into reps. Your brain works the same way. Studying isn't about putting in time, it's about putting in reps. Mental reps, thought reps, memory reps. And that changes the question from how long did I study to How many times did I pull this out of my brain? Because that's where learning happens, in the pulling, not the reading. So here's how to shift your approach. Don't measure your study sessions by hours. Measure them by retrieval attempts. Close the notes, ask a question, try to answer, struggle, miss a detail, then look it up, refine, try again. Each rep makes the memory a little more solid. Each rep makes the path a little more clear. And over time, this becomes a habit. 10 minutes of focused retrieval beats an hour of rereading every single time. Why? Because your brain isn't a storage unit. It's a network. It needs to use the info to know it matters. When you train this way, you start to feel a weird kind of confidence. Not the fake kind, the I reviewed everything twice kind, but the real kind, the I've recalled this so many times, I know it kind. And this doesn't mean you throw away your notes. It means you change how you use them. Turn them into questions, flashcards, mini quizzes. Even better, teach it to someone else, or pretend to. Every time you rebuild the concept from memory, your brain is saying, yes, I've seen this before, I had to work for it, let's lock it in. It's not always fun, it's definitely not glamorous, but it works. This is how you stop being a passive consumer of knowledge and start becoming an active builder of it. So the next time you're about to sit and go over stuff, ask yourself, am I reviewing or am I repping? Because one of those sticks, the other just passes the time. Stop waiting to feel ready. Here's a secret nobody tells you. You're never going to feel ready. Not to start the chapter, not to take the quiz, not to face what you don't know. You'll always feel like you should review one more thing, watch one more video, highlight one more paragraph. That's not preparation. That's fear in disguise. It's your brain's way of avoiding discomfort, convincing you that certainty must come before action. But in reality, it's action that creates certainty. The only way to feel ready is to start before you feel ready. Open the blank page, ask the hard question, try to recall something you think you've already forgotten. Yeah, it might suck at first. Your brain will resist. You'll feel exposed, vulnerable. But that moment, that's the beginning of learning, because you're choosing courage over comfort. Every time you retrieve without looking, every time you answer before you know if you're right, you're telling your brain, this is mine now. I'm not just borrowing it from a page. And slowly, your confidence stops being fragile. It's no longer built on perfect notes or last-minute review. It's built on experience, struggle, real memory. So, stop waiting. Start pulling knowledge out. Start making mistakes. Start learning the way your brain actually learns. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. The power of spacing and forgetting. You probably think forgetting is the enemy. That if you forget something, you fail, that your brain is broken, that you have to reread everything all over again. But here's the truth. Forgetting is part of learning. Your brain expects you to forget, so it can decide what's worth keeping. When you let time pass, then try to recall something later, your brain has to work harder to find it. And that work, that's what strengthens the memory. It's called spacing. And it's why studying once, then revisiting days later works better than cramming it all at once. Because every time you forget and struggle to remember, you're training your brain to not forget next time. It's like breaking a muscle so it grows back stronger. So don't freak out when you draw a blank. Don't panic when you can't recall the details you should remember. Instead, use it. Let yourself forget, then retrieve. Let the space stretch, then close it. It feels inefficient, but it's how long-term memory works. And honestly, it's a relief. You don't have to master everything in one sitting. You just have to come back over and over and make your brain fight for it. That's what locks it in. So, next time you feel frustrated because you forgot something you studied yesterday, smile a little, because you're not failing. You're learning the way your brain was always meant to. Because real learning isn't about being the fastest or the smartest. It's about being willing to get things wrong, to try again, to build your knowledge from the inside out. So today, try one thing different. Close the book, ask yourself a question, try to answer it. Even if you don't get it right, you've already won. Because you're no longer studying for the grade, you're studying for yourself. That's how it sticks, that's how it grows, that's how it changes you. If this helped, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you're not behind, you're just becoming one rep at a time.